What dead video game franchises do you think are long overdue for a return?
And my first pick, I got to return to that well. Give me some more Half-Life. Like, come on. We've been waiting like hungry dogs out here. And they're making VR games and everything in between. And guess what, though? This week, there's been little rumblings that Half-Life 3 is actually in the works. And we might actually get that game. So that's a franchise that I just think has so much lore and so much anticipation built up behind it, especially now, that it's a perfect time to kind of bring everyone together and release this mega hit. What do you guys think?
Do you follow like Half-Life news at all? Like, do you have any idea why they wouldn't have created one by now? Like, are there any rumors?
They stopped making games.
Yeah, like Dan says, they just stopped like going in, like diving into that. But
yeah,
I mean, they made
and they had great franchises. In fact, I'm going to talk about another Valve game that it came from the same work stoppage. Yeah, you're right. We're going to.
I didn't even know that. Yeah,
you're right. We're going to name the 3 series. The spoiler alerts. All right, so sorry.
Yeah, all right.
No, good one.
That's really that was just my kickoff. I mean, I feel like I could talk about Half-Life 2 or Half-Life 1.
I agree, but it's been such a long time. They would do well to remaster 1 and 2 and bring those back out. Like, they should do an orange box remaster and just put all of the orange box out, and then they can do 3 right after, because 2 ended up with that cliffhanger and the things need to be wrapped up in 3. But that's exactly what they need to do. Remaster the orange box. You heard it here first. I'm calling.
I would buy that in a heartbeat.
I think everyone would, especially on Xbox.
For sure. Gosh, that's an iconic game. Good call.
I mean, that leads perfectly to what mine is, because I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that this was the case, but mine is Portal. Like, that was the first thing I thought about. And I'm looking over at the orange box right now on my shelf, which is one of the few physical games I have. And I'm never going to get rid of that, because I loved Portal. I love Team Fortress 2. Which is the precursor to Overwatch. Like, so my first pick was Portal. I absolutely adored this game. It had the inventiveness, the creativity of how to get from point A to point B. Even the Gladys, I loved that voice of hers was fantastic. It created the environment it created was just unforgettable.
I love the sound effects in Portal when you shoot those little globs to make the portal. Oh man,
iconic!
It's iconic, so good. I just had to shut that out real fast.
I agree. Well, just to put the cherry on the Valve sundae, my first pick is Left 4 Dead. And no, we didn't plan this, but Left 4 Dead was one of the first ones that did that squad-based shooter through the campaigns, and they did everything right out of the gate. It was freaking fantastic. And then I was so pumped when Back 4 Blood was like, yeah, we're going to be the official successor. And they did absolutely everything wrong because Left 4 Dead, it was definitely squad based. It had really unique levels. It was short in these chapters that were based on movies. It had a beginning, middle, and end, and it was repeatable, and you could just keep playing it. And you can get on harder difficulties and get squad like movements with your buddy and watch different stores and stuff like that. So clever, so well done. Its sequel, just as good, but then people complained about it being too similar, even though it had the multiplayer in it. And so they released all of Left 4 Dead 1 into Left 4 Dead 2. So if you got Left 4 Dead 2, you got everything. And then the PC people got Cold Creek, which I still haven't forgotten, and I'm still angry about it. I mean, I eventually played it too, and it wasn't that great. But anyway, the Linden story is Left 4 Dead, freaking fantastic zombie squad-based shooter, and definitely needs to be brought back. And if they're doing Half-Life, then maybe they'll bring back this one. But you guys play
one? I remember when you were so into this game, and I played it a couple times, and I absolutely hated Left 4 Dead. I hated it. And I hated it because I couldn't go lone wolf. And I love to go lone wolf, and you can't do that in that game. You do it, you're dead. And you have to depend on your friends, and I do not like depending on my friends.
That's a good one, Dan. Good call.
Yeah, that is good.
And I forgot I honestly forgot Valve made that game.
Yes,
in their heyday, they were brilliant. They were so good, and then they were just like, we're good. We don't need to do anymore.
Good. We'll make money on Steam. Thanks.
Yeah.
So my second game that I would not mind coming back is F.E.A.R, the F.E.A.R franchise. Let's get another F.E.A.R. I don't know. I haven't honestly. Who knows? Maybe there's a remake or something in the works that I just don't know about. But I haven't heard a peep about this game, and I just played the first one on the Steam Deck, and that game holds up so well. And that, well, first of all,
people who don't know, F.E.A.R is that one that's a first-person shooter mixed with The Ring, where the girl's climbing around or whatever.
Yes, Alma, I believe is her name, and you also have slow motion, max pain level, bullet time physics. So, and they also perfected this thing where like sparks will fly all over the place. So it just looks very, very pretty while all this chaos is going on. And I gotta say, like, where's our slow motion first person shooters at? Like, it doesn't even need to be F.E.A.R at this point, but just give us something with some slow motion. I loved F.E.A.R though. That game, I feel like I had a good run on the 360 as well. I played a lot of those on there, and had some great times. Bring it back.
Nice. That was a good one.
Where are you, F.E.A.R?
Yeah. Maulding.
My second is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So the concept of these games is that you had access to play as pretty much a huge roster of X-Men characters, and then it expanded to different other Marvel franchises. So you had like Fantastic Four, and you had Blade, and you had the Avengers were in there, Incredible Hulk. And you played, it was a top-down sort of Diablo-esque sort of fighting game, and you could combine your powers with other characters. So say you were Iron Man and you had one of your other team before was Captain America, and at a certain point you could bind your powers together and shoot his laser into Captain America's shield and burn everyone on the screen. And it is so much fun, and I loved it so much. And I thought it was dead, and I thought it was dead until I was looking it up. And there's a third one that came out in 2019, and it's on the Switch. And I had no idea at all that there was a third one.
My third pick is going to be Dead Rising. I freaking love that series. The first one was pretty good, and I know, yes, it's not technically dead because the first one is being remastered again for like the third time because Capcom are being cheap and they don't want to actually give us a real sequel. And then 2 was awesome. 3 was also great and criminally underplayed because it was an Xbox One launch title. So if you missed that one, definitely worth checking out. And it had vehicles and it was amazing. And then 4 happened. And 4, unfortunately, it wasn't multiplayer. It didn't have the right theming. It wasn't quite as fun. And they just need to bring it back to its heyday. They need to go back to like 2. They need to put it back in the mall. They need to add all of the extra stuff and then bring back the psychos and everything. It was so much fun making combo weapons and leveling up and becoming stronger. And I remember it so well because it was the first time the 360 was so powerful. I saw just like fields of zombies, and it blew my little peanut brain. I just want to go back to that day of like being able to like add a machete on the end of a lawnmower and just jump into a big pile of zombies and take them out with blood and guts spraying everywhere. I mean, good times. And that's why they need to bring back Dead Rising. Even if you're not into sports, be sure to check out an argument we recently had on this video. We always try and think outside of the box when we make our video game picks, but did one of us think a little too outside of the box? Check out this video and let us know what you think.